Hello, everybody. That piece of welcome to the Mikestand as we are now kind of at the end of the week here, our last news night of the week before we, of course, tomorrow, of course, we'll be doing our historical comic retrospect. Of course, we'll give it a little minute or two to give people a chance to come in. So tonight, of course, what we'll be doing is we'll be going over the Indie Comic Showcase article from Bleeding Full for Chris Braley's Bleeding Full site, looking at some of the latest in some of the independent projects, some of the crowd-funded independent projects that are coming out. Um, we'll be looking at what they have to offer and stuff like that. I'll, of course, be sharing the links as well, as you guys know. Let's see. Also, of course, we have somebody here. Hi there. Hello. Let's see. Hello, Mamook CD. Welcome to the Mike Stand. I hope you enjoy the show. Of course, as a reminder, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with all that being said, yeah, I think we're just gonna get right into it because we actually do have some people here. So, let's get right into the article then. Of course, later on we'll also have the wrestling wrap up in this day and age history as well, aside from the article. So, what's all on tap for tonight? Let's see. Let's see. Well, thank you for subscribing. Mamuk, I guess how you how you say that. Hopefully, um, thank you for subscribing. Hopefully, hopefully we'll see you on here more often. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get into the article. Then we're gonna go over tonight. Indie Comic Showcase number 263, Fiendish 2.5, Legend of Tao and Tales of the Hoshi, article by Chris Braley, published yesterday. It was March 6th, which was of course yesterday. So let's get into it. And as I said before, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So first off, let's get into this here. Welcome back to another installment of Indie Comic Showcase, the weekly blog where we signal boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding in some way, or just completely self-publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $35 bundle. And of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about these projects to your friends and followers. Also, you can check out the show here, usually on every Thursday. Sometimes we do it on Wednesday, but for the most part every Thursday where we, go over the material as well. On Indie Comic Showcase, we interview the creators, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the project for yourself. Below, we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about, enjoy, and hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks for checking these out and for being the best part of Indie Comic Showcase. Let's jump in. So we've got, okay, and before I continue on, How do I get mod? Um, well, obviously, I got to get to know you a bit more. Obviously, I don't just I'm not really too keen on Granted, I'm not a I don't I don't usually there's not like usually a whole lot. Just if you become a regular and I feel that you can handle it, um, I'll eventually give you a mod. Um, you know, if basically just keep coming back, and then as I get to know you, I'll probably mod you. Um, so as long as you're not like doing anything like sharing bad links or anything like that, you should be okay. But um, and I want to at least make sure that you're gonna be sticking around a while. Anyways, um, Fiendish 2.5 by Irene Strachalski. So let me see here. Let's see. So let's go grab the link here. All right. This looks like so this is just an independent link altogether. Okay. All right. So here's a. Okay, I was just curious about it. Yeah, all right. So here's the first book we're looking at. Fiendish 2.5 here. Actually, we did it more like that. Here's the link for this first book we're going to go over here. You guys want to go check that out? I'm going to go check that book out. See if read up on it, what have you. Um, there it is. All right, so let's get into the article here, the interview here. All right, so Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Irene. Tell our readers the pitch for Fiendish. Irene Strachalski. Fiendish is a fantasy mystery comic following Casimir, the sole survivor of a mysterious demon attack on his hometown of Dorvo. Years after fleeing the massacre, Kaz thought he had left his nightmares behind, till the same fiends resurface and kill again, along with several companions who had also lost their loved ones to the monsters. Casimir sets out to revisit his past, uncover the truth behind Dorvo's downfall, and hopefully put an end to his fiendish infestation. The series is currently funding its third installment, Chapter 2.5, which is a 25-page standalone story about Casimir's past. The previous two installments have already been fulfilled and are available at my web store. So this is obviously a project that Irene is self-publishing herself, and I think the link I just put up was to her website. If you guys want to go, as I said, you want to go check that out. So continuing on then, in the article here, let's see. Chris, so where did the idea for this comic come from? And with so much experience at bigger publishers, why self-publish? Irene, creating a comic series has been a long-time dream of mine, and Fiendish was born out of my love of classic fantasy, mystery, storytelling, and seinen manga. So there is some manga influence here, Japanese comics basically, and great works of and Lovecraft. So quite an eclectic collection of source material there. I believe that adult targeted fantasy projects with deep world building are an untapped market in American comics. Yet, having worked in mainstream comics for a number of years, I came to an understanding that a long form project from a little known creator, which also broke several genre conventions, was not within the risk that established publishers were willing to take. Thus, in the interest of creative integrity, I decided the risk of publishing independently were more than worth the reward. So, again, we've talked a lot about this every time we cover these articles, and in some form or another, it always comes back to that. The whole idea of being independent, not necessarily having to answer to anybody, or just in this case, just realizing that they weren't, the publishers weren't gonna do it, so she figured she might as well just do it herself. Kudos to her. Nice artwork there, to say the least. That looks like some pretty deep, detailed art right there. And how just deep the tone of the artwork is there. Chris, who is Fiendish aimed at? Irene, Fiendish is aimed at readers above 16 years of age who have an interest in long form fantasy with original lore and world building. It contains a notable amount of bloodshed and brief partial nudity, though not gratuitous. Um, I aim to showcase violence and sex for the sake of story immersion, not for shock value. So basically, she's basically saying, I think she's saying there that she's just gonna put in just enough sex and violence to where it makes sense to the story. It's not gonna be over the top, and like it's not gonna be per se a gore fest unless that's what the story called for. You know, and if I'm reading some of it right, I don't know if there's a whole lot there for it where the story calls for it as much. Anyways, getting back to the article here. Chris, tell me about your inspiration, creative style, and how you developed into a creator. Irene, having grown up in Asia, my favorite comic series growing up were manga like Full Metal Alchemist, Kenshin, and Rurouni Kenshin, for those of you who may not know, Berserk, and Ghost in the Shell. Again, quite an eclectic group. You have one about alchemy, one a historical manga setting, kind of a role playing one in Berserk, and then kind of a cyberpunk one. So you got quite a range there of interesting stuff. I was also an avid reader of John Grisham's thrillers, Gene M. Orwell's prehistoric fantasy, and works by H.P. Lovecraft, George R. R. Martin, and Tolkien. I think they misspelled it Tolkien here, but I believe it's Tolkien. I majored in sequential art at the Savannah College of Art and Design, and afterwards self published many short comics while working for television animation, till I eventually landed work at Marvel Comics. When I realized that working for Marvel was personally not creatively fulfilling, I began work on Fiendish. Again, just the depth of the artwork here, definitely will grab you. Let's see. Let's see now. See if you guys have anything more to say yet. Nope. All right. So anyways, continuing on with the article here. Let's see. Chris asked, "Tell me about your creative team on Fiendish." Um, Irene, I'm the writer and main artist of the series, but I have an amazing team of collaborators who collectively make Fiendish possible. My main colorist, Carlos Nicolas Lamudio, is an old college friend of mine. He is best known for coloring the Oni Press series Shadow Roads and is an artist in his own right, having contributed several back covers to Fiendish. My editor, Michael Odin, is the creator of indie books like The Embrace and Elysian Field. Yeah, I think I've heard of Michael Odin before, seen his name pop up here and there. And we met through the online indie comic scene. I found Michael Rushbrook, the penciler and inker on Fiendish 2.5, through the Fiendish 2 fan art contest. I also met Jay Carroll, colorist on Fiendish 2.5, and game designer extraordinaire through the indie comic scene. It's good to show you how they use communities, Zara. How communities come together. Now she's a nice looking nurse, isn't she? when you want her tending to your ills and wounds, Chris. At what stage in the production process is this book? Is it ready for print? Irene, Fiendish 2.5 is currently inks complete and colors should be completed by the time this interview is published. I'm aiming to fulfill the book by April, and will make 2.5 available on the uh, web store for afterwards, along with along with the already available Fiendish 1 and 2. Chris, after a few successful campaigns under your belt, what have you learned from self-publishing? Irene, I've learned that consistent, trustworthy collaborators, printers, and factories are hard to come by, and that I ought to cherish the wonderful people I have finally found to help me produce Fiendish. Also, producing a comic takes time, especially as a small team without the backing of a large publishing house. Therefore, I now buffer all my crowdfunding campaigns with several months of extra time to allow for any possible, almost inevitable, production and fulfillment hiccups. Yeah. Again, you just have to almost marvel at the depth of this artwork here. Chris, what's beyond this book are the more fiendish stories to tell? Irene, fiendish is a long form story, so with 3 books about to be complete, I am just getting started. I have the entire series mapped out, and it currently stands at 9 main books with 4 more one shots, just like 2.5, to supplement them. So she's definitely got a plan, doesn't she? Let's see. Let's see if anybody. Let's see. Nope. Quite. All right. So let's see. Continuing on here. Chris, nice. Any special features in this book or special perks? Irene, I'm an avid player of tabletop games, in parentheses, your Pathfinder in particular. So all Fiendish campaigns have TTRPG or tabletop role playing game statted trading cards as stretch goals. These trading cards feature not only characters from each book, but creatures and magical items as well. Additionally, as I want to reward the backers of all Fiendish crowdfunding campaigns with collectible items, all campaign covers for my new books are campaign exclusive, and will never be reprinted again. So limited time opportunity to grab some of the goodies, right? A way to get you to really get going on it. Anyways, all right. So continuing on here. Is, I guess, some more artwork from the book. Chris, very cool. Anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Irene, I believe that diversity of genre and an independent creative spirit are necessary for American comic book industry to thrive. For only creatives backed by artistic passion and not structural caution can innovate. For my part, I aim to bring unique factors from my own background, a smorgasbord of the East and the West, into my writing and art style, and honor the established genre of fantasy while also taking new risks. I'm grateful for the chance that my backers have given Fiendish, and I'll do my best to make their investment worth it. Chris, thanks, Irene. We're rooting for you. There we go. So there's that one. And there does seem to be, and I'm guessing because, based on some of the titles too here, it does seem like there does seem to be a bit of a manga influence in these books that they're going over tonight. So, anyways. After we get that, let's see. So now let's get ready. Tales of the Hoshi, book 1. Now, Hoshi, for those of you who don't know, is the Japanese word for star. It's the Japanese word for star. For those of you who don't, by Adam Kimber. So, um, and there's even well, so let's go and grab this link here. And this is a Fund My Comic project. I'm Adam Kimber. Go ahead and get that copied. All right, so there we go with that one now. If you guys want to go check that book out, there it is, Tales of the Hoshi, Book 1. From now, that one's a Fun My Comic project. So with that, why don't we go ahead and look into the interview here. Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Adam. What's the pitch for Tales of the Hoshi? Adam Kimber, in an age of reason and logic, the world will soon discover all the myths are true. Chris, tell me a little about the inspiration for this book. Adam, Tales of the Hoshi was originally meant to be a series of short stories based on Japanese mythology and folk tales. Hence, as we said, the Asian influence here of the books tonight. In time, we hope to include other mythology from other cultures into this world. The Asteri of Greece, the Terra of India, the Shadow Men of Africa, and others. With the rise of the independent comic scene adapting Tales of the Hoshi to a comic graphic novel style expresses the story more excitingly than prose alone. I guess here's some of the character artwork, character designs. Let's see, Chris, what kind of comic readers is this suited for? Adam, Tales of the Hoshi would appeal to a reader who likes an immersive world but doesn't want to commit to a full saga like adventure. While the first book of Tales of the Hoshi is titled Book 1, each book is its own story. So interesting there. And you've had some people create books like that before. Or even though they'll call it Book 1 or Book 2 or what have you, they usually will also seem to indicate that it may not necessarily be part of an outright like continuing saga. Maybe just some stories linked together. But anyways, getting back to the article here. All right, so Chris then asks, "Who is your creative team on this project?" Adam, my artist is Hockey, the ad hoc artist who is currently working on his own project, Curiosities and Oddities Emporium, The Dress. And he has also made contributions to Frog G Voodoo, and Gods and Magic. My co-writer and editor is Ali Sangui, known for Egg Beater, the Demon Baker of Sweet Tweets. I actually did see a book like that recently. I don't know. Wow Man and the Rotting Crown. Ali appears regularly on YouTube with Irene Strachalski, who we just, of course, read about. We just read about with her Fiendish book, right? Where they discuss world building. The phenomenal work of Billy Baxko's design of the graphic of Tales of the Hoshi drops hints at what could be dwelling beyond our world in the realm of mythology. Oh, there we go again. Kristen asks, "Tell me, Adam, how is the production going so far?" Adam, Due to life events and being first-time creators, production has been admittingly slower than we would have preferred. However, we aim to get this completed. All right. As this is our first book, the funds raised will go towards creation of the book rather than it for any profit. A non-profit comic book, interesting to say the least, I guess. And then we've seen a lot of those lately, haven't we? Yeah, there it is. All right. Then, all right. Continuing on here. Chris, there's always unexpected hiccups. Are you learning anything from the experience? Adam, no amount of preparation can prepare you for the real thing. As a first time crowdfunder, I decided to change the format from a physical book to a digital comic in order to reduce the price of the physical book and prevent funds from being drained in shipping costs. Depending on the interest and Tales of the Hoshi, there will be a physical book offered in a second chance campaign. I have already shown my hand with a few of the special perks backers can receive um, should we reach our stretch goals. However, there are some. All right. Anyways, sorry about that. Uh, I have already shown my hand with a few of the special perk backers receive should we reach our stretch goals. However, there are some I am keeping close to the vest should we significantly exceed our monetary goal. We will have the usual prints, trading cards, stickers, and patches. Unquote. Okay. Uh, hmm. Chris, any special perks you're offering? Adam, one of hidden stretch goals will be an ash can of the origin of the unnamed. The blue gin, perhaps an ash can of the origin of the savage Oni of Toyama Blood Lightning. Um, Chris, what else would I guess he meant to say would you like to share with our readers before we sign off? Adam, if backers are interested in the campaign, want to contribute in some way, but don't want to purchase a book, they can sign up for our thank you list. Your name will appear in the book in English and in Gato, the language of the Hoshi. Um, each backer on the thank you list will receive all the stretch goals and bonus material as they are unlocked. The higher we go, the better it gets. Oh, there you go, that one. Legend of Tao by Theopneustos Theopneustos Thacker. Okay. Hmm. The Legend of Tao series. And of course, before we do that, let's go and grab. So this one's going to be a this is going to be a Fund My Comic project as well. Alrighty then. So Legend of Tao. So here's the link to that campaign. So if you guys want to go check that out, there it is. All right, so here we go. Now let's continue on with the article here. The Legend of Tao by the Theopneustos Thacker. Chris Braley. Welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Theo. What can you tell us about the Legend of Tao? The Theopneustos Thacker. The Legend of Tao, #1, is a 100-page comic book which follows the origins and adventures of a new vigilante superhero seeking to bring his father's murderers to justice and redeem his family name, all while mastering a hidden power that is unlocked during a time of peril. He spends most of the series fighting against a criminal underworld called the Jin Se Day, the Golden Ones, a group that hides many secrets and spans across continents. Kind of like the Illuminati, right? ah. Chris, what inspired you to make this comic? Theo, growing up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Turtle comics, Spider-Man, and martial arts films, my brother and I wanted to capture the heart of these things, and as a family that used to practice martial arts, we hope it reflects well in the series. However, we are more focused on bringing to life the classic tales of good versus evil with high stakes, action, and adventure. Chris, who is this comic aimed at? Theo, we believe it is more suitable for the male audience ages 16 and up. But that is at the discretion of the parent. Actually, that kickboxing scene reminds me a little bit of an episode of Hajime no Ippo. But anyways, Chris, tell us about your style and creative process and how you develop them. Dio, while I currently prefer a more 90s 2000s art style, there are some unique brushes I use in my software of choice, and sometimes um, I will alternate with traditional ink and pencil markers. This This was created by me and my brother Emmanuel Thacker. I am the elder of us. Emmanuel is 7 years younger. We are Christian in faith and have spent years developing our story. All right. And further interest there. Oh boy. Chris, what's your production workflow like? Theo, we work in tandem on story. Emmanuel does the writing while I, Theopnistus Thacker, spend most of my time on the actual panels and coloring. We try to get 2 to 3 pages done per day. We intend to use the book to launch an ongoing series, along with creating an entire West Virginia entire universe of entire universe of new superheroes, each with their own stories and adventures. We intend to call our comics the Creatorverse, aka Create TV production. All right, so it sounds like he is actually looking into the possibility of producing maybe some TV programming out of this too. Hmm. All right. Excuse me. All right, Chris, it's hard work for sure. Anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off this week? Um, let's see. Theo, we are hoping to create a website to feature all our future stories and create our own merchandise as we have designs for it. And Chris, best of luck to you and your brother, Theo. So with that, let's see. That's it for this installment. If you're a creator ramping up your own campaign or have a comic available for purchase online and you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here and follow Indie Comic Showcase on Twitter at Indie Comics. Reach out to them for more eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Till next time, support Indie Comics. All right, so there we go with that one. All right, so we're wrapping up pretty good time here. So we're going to move right into, of course, talking about the wrestling wrap up. We got some news from WWE, AEW, and TNA. Of course, first off, WWE news as they continue to prepare for for WrestleMania. Of course, they continue to try to slowly but surely just get Mr. Vince McMahon out of the way. Basically, the TKO CEO even came out and said he's not with the company. There's no plans on bringing him back for anything. So they're just trying to get him to go away, basically, so that they can continue on. Especially in light of the accusations of sexual assault and sex trafficking. So and then in other news as well, apparently some people who at times were in with the WWE apparently can't stay out of trouble with the law, as it was um, and now former Tough Enough contender and current congressional candidate Dan Rodenmeyer um, is wanted in connection with the death of a 47-year-old man in some kind of confrontation that happened in Las Vegas. Um, Details are still kind of sketchy right now, but he has voluntarily surrendered himself to police, plans on vigorously defending himself. Um, so that's kind of all the WWE news we have for you right now. Moving on to the AEW news is last night, of course. Last night, in the fallout from Revolution. Here's what we have for you on that front. So, so in a non-title tag team match, AEW World Champion Samoa Joe teamed with Swerve Strickland to defeat the Undisputed Kingdom's Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, who are currently the Ring of Honor tag team champions. Of course, this is playing up the whole possibility of the Samoa Joe Wardlow matchup coming up next week's Dynamite. Samoa Joe will be defending the AEW World Title against Wardlow, who I think back in late 2022, early 2023, fought over the TNT title against. Hook retains the FTW champion over former FTW champion Brian Cage by a referee's decision, as I guess he locked in the I think, as I recall, I think he locked in the Red Rum. Killswitch defeated Matt Menard in a one-on-one match in just over 2 minutes. Riho defeated Chris Statlander, which set up an upcoming match with Chris Statlander's partner, Willow Nightingale. Of course, this was a battle of two former champions in AEW, the inaugural AEW Women's World Champion and a former AEW TBS champion. And the main event saw Will Ospreay defeat Ring of Honor World Television Champion Kyle Fletcher in a non-title match, and a match between two members of the Don Callis family. Now, in some other news that happened last night, of course, AEW started up they kind of debuted a new set design, some new designs for their show, for the Dynamite show. So I'll be looking forward to that over the next few weeks. Also, it was made official that Kazuchika Okada is now All Elite. He, of course, signed with All Elite Wrestling and also became the latest member of the Elite, which also saw the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, suspend Hangman Adam Page for laying his hands on a ref, as well as firing Kenny Omega from the Elite for not showing up to work. So with that, and then there's also been some talk that Chris Jericho might be looking to possibly team Jericho up with Hook now, but we will have to wait and see. Now, we also have for you some TNA news. Of course, tomorrow night is the Sacrifice pay-per-view from TNA. But tonight, they had the last. Tonight was the last Impact before tonight was the last Impact before the Sacrifice pay-per-view. In a non-title match, X Division champion Mustafa Ali will be taking on Kevin Knight. Ash by Elegance, who recently made her debut, will be took on Angel Blue. The Time Splitters members Alex Shelley and Kushida taking on the Good Hands, Jason Haas and John Scaler. Dirty Dango takes on Josh Alexander. Danny Luna with Jody Threat in her corner will be taking on Masha Slamovich with Killer Kelly in a battle what may ultimately lead to a knockouts tag team title defense for MK Ultra against Luna and Threat. And then PCO took on Allen Angels as well. So now tomorrow night, of course, as I mentioned, tomorrow night TNA will be having its Sacrifice pay-per-view. See, already signed for that show from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. It's from the St. Clair College, Windsor, which will be shown on TNA Plus. PCO will be taking on Cone, a no DQ match. And it has actually been signed already. MK Ultra will be defending the Knockouts World Tag Team titles against Danny Luna and Jody Threat. So Nick Nemeth will be taking on Steve Macklin. Now, I was under the impression that Nick Nemeth was going to probably be defending the New Japan Global Heavyweight title here. Apparently, that's not going to be the case. It's just going to be a normal singles match. So that was my bad for saying that. But in a rematch from, I believe it was Hard to Kill, Josh Alexander will be taking on Hammerstone again. Ace Austin and Chris Bay, ABC, will be defending the TNA World Tag Team Champions against the system members of Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, with Alicia Edwards in their corner. Jordan Grace defends the Knockouts World title in a three-way match against Zaya Brookside and Tasha Steelz. The Grizzled Young Veterans team with Mustafa Ali to take on the members of Time Machine, basically Kushida and the Motor City Machine Guns of Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. And in the main event for tomorrow night, Moose defends the TNA World title against Eric Young, the former TNA World Champion. So with that now, it would be a good time now to move on to our final set of stuff tonight, the This Day in Each History. Let me this. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead. Today being Thursday, March the 7th, 2024. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So first off, I'm going to head back to 1999. And on this date in 1999, Digimon Adventures, the original 1999 series, premiered on Japanese television on this date back in 1999. So 25 years ago today, the original Digimon Adventures anime premiered on Japanese television on this date back in 1999. Moving on now to the next piece of niche history. We move ahead 5 years to 2004. On this date in 2004, legendary actor and voice actor Paul Winfield passed away at the age of 64. Paul Winfield would, of course, provide the voices of Mr. Smith in The Wish That Changed Christmas, Jeffrey Robbins in Gargoyles, if you remember the blind author, basically. He would provide the voice of Omar Mosley, Black Marvel, in the Spider-Man series during the Six Forgotten Warriors story arc there. Sam Young in Batman Beyond. Of course, Earl Cooper in the Batman the Animated Series episode The Mechanic, among others, and he had a few other roles as well. Passed on this date 15 years ago today, or no, 20 years ago today, rather. 20 years ago today, he passed away at the age of 64, passing of Paul Winfield. So moving on to the next piece of niche here as we move ahead to 2018, which was 6 years ago today. On this date, 6 years ago today, the 5th issue of Archie and Me Comics Digest went on sale on this date 6 years ago today. So on this date 6 years ago today, 5th issue of Archie and Me Comics Digest went on sale on this date. It sold for $6.99, which is 128 pages, had a number of different stories in it. So with that, we have one more piece of niche history. Moving ahead 1 year to 2019, 5 years ago today. As on this date, 5 years ago today, former AEW World Heavyweight and PWF United States Champion Dick Bayer, who, of course, as AWA Champion was known as Dr. X, and as PWF United States Champion was known as the Destroyer, had a pretty good career over in Japan with All Japan Wrestling in the 70s. As the Destroyer. Dick Bayer passed away at the age of 88 on this date in 2019. 5 years ago today, Dick Bayer, also known as the Destroyer and Dr. X, passed away at the age of 88. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night. As I said, RJ Carter from Critical Blast will be joining me as we'll be getting started on our coverage of February books that went on sale in February 1940, looking at DC stuff. Going to be looking at, of course, the first appearances of Lex Luthor and Hourman. So I hope we will see everybody here tomorrow night. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I bid you all adieu. Bye!